Welcome back to FTB Infinity Evolved Expert Mode episode 46? Yeah, 46. I've been standing around for quite some time waiting for Thaumcraft, and that's annoying. So I thought I'd make the episode. Luckily, I got what I wanted just before getting to the episode recording, so let's go quickly through it. Thaumcraft, I've been trying to get to this tab, and I did get to it quite a ways back. Probably yesterday morning. And this is the Eldritch tab. It's the kind of advanced warp area of Thaumcraft. To get to it, you're going to need to basically take any of the research that needs warp, or there's another way of getting to it. We'll get to that later. But generally, you'll want to take these anyway. So Meat Research Mastery, Bone 1 Core, Liquid Death. There's a bunch of others. At some point, as well, when you're doing that, this area will open. This is the way to get rid of some of warp, not the permanent kind, but you can get rid of the temporary kind. Infernal Furnace, which we already got, and thankfully in the new version of Thaumcraft we can zoom in and out of this view. Sinister Lodestone, and there's plenty of others, but eventually you will get this Eldritch tab. And in here you probably want to get one of these first, the Sanity check. Straightforward crafting-ish. And you'll see a gauge at the top left of the screen. The darkest purple is the permanent warp, I think. The medium purple is the normal warp, and the light purple is the temporary warp. Now, in order to open the Eldritch tab, you've got to get up to that golden, the first golden band, if you like, the first third. Of course, you can't see that, of course, because you can't make this sanity checker until you get up to that golden band anyway. So once you get that, you will then need to get it up to the second golden band if you want the next sort of set the next thing up. The first thing you'll get with it is the Eldritch Epiphany, which is the thing that opens the tab, and then I think it is the thing that opens the tab, and then the Eldritch Revelation. Unfortunately, the Eldritch Revelation is what I've not got yet. I cannot look in here to create the thing I want, and the thing I want, you may have seen at the end of the last episode, but I was trying to create blood orbs. Specifically the 4th tier. And this has no recipe. I can click that all at once, I will not get a recipe. However, when you get to high warp and you get the Eldritch Revelation, you do get the recipe. So I was waiting for that. However, I got lucky. Very lucky, in fact, because one of the other events you get through warp is the Eldritch Guardians spawning around you and coming after you. They have a chance of dropping one of those, the Eldritch Eyes. The Eldritch Eyes in general in a normal mod pack are used to get into the Outer Lands, and you need 4 of them to do that, so you could be waiting for an awful lot of Eldritch Guardians. And what you will find is it's really difficult to get permanent warp. I mean, you saw what I've got there. Those research things give you half permanent and half normal warp. I think that's the way it works. And I could barely get up to the first one, and so then I had to go temporary warp. So temporary warp is fairly easy to get. You just chow down on zombie flesh, zombies on my brains. Sorry, brains. You chew on those for a while. You wait for the hunger to come up here. Wait for it to go away again, wait for this bar to go back to normal, then you chow down on another brain, and you keep on doing that. Don't chow down on it when you've got the hunger. It just doesn't stack properly, and you don't get an issue. You get an issue where this bar fills up completely again, and you have to wait for your energy bar to go down again. So just wait for it to wear off, then use another brain. Trust me. And eventually that gauge on the left-hand side will fill up, and when it does... Steam is notifying me of something or other. When it does fill up, you can then wait for these events. And the events that I was waiting for was the Eldritch Revelation, which I haven't got yet. Maybe I'm missing something, I don't know. But I did get, finally, one of these from a Eldritch Guardian. So, is there anything in here? That's just whitelisting those. Let's just put this in. So this takes 40,000 life points. And as I don't have an altar capable of that, I do, however, have Runes of Dislocation, which feeds this blood as fast as it can actually use it up on the crafting. So, yeah, we're fairly safe here. And I've not even filled this third ring yet. These are just regular blood runes. So that will take a little bit. The other thing we're going to need to do as well is upgrade this, our diviner. So I've set this to Well of Suffering. And if I shift on this, it says 4 air, 16 stone. Well, it's basically 36 in total, 4 of which are dusk stones. However, the diviner we've got, cannot place dusk runes. So we need to actually get one that can, which is the next upgrade. To do that, we need the 4th tier of demonic slates and the elemental description tool dusk. Those are just, this one is just a block of coal in the blood altar. This one is just leave the slate in there. But it will take quite some time to get to that point. And yay, we've now got a master blood orb. So we should also create the upgrade diviner. And that should be relatively simple. If I can remember which way around it is, I think it's this way around. Diviner and there. Note there is one more upgrade to Dawn runes. I don't think this was available last time I played, or it was just coming into being last time I did Blood Magic. And that basically requires tier 6 altars. Yeah, so not going to be there for a while, and again, the slate appropriate for that. So we're not going to bother with that one yet. What this will allow us to place once we make some ritual stones is, however, the ritual of... Oh, actually, no, it's not the ritual of, it's the Well of Suffering. Helps if I... yeah, because it's reset. Never mind. Well of Suffering. There we go. Yeah, so we're going to need about 40 ritual stones, 4 of which will be a master ritual stone, and then the rest that will be normal kind, which this will place down just fine. What this does is it takes damage from mobs that are nearby. We're going to replace all of that once I get the other system in place. However, to do it, it takes... I want to say it takes 2 life points and gets 10 life points back to put into an altar. I want to say that's right. Not quite sure. But in any case, it'll only feed 1 altar. So if it's going to be this one, then it'll feed this one. Not quite so sure. I got by on 2 altars last season, but you need a source of blood, really. So that's... which means... because you basically need stuff for your network. You also need blood for that one. And the easiest way to get blood for your network is just to put it in the, put your blood orb in the altar and wait. And as long as you have blood being provided into the altar, then it's being provided back to your network faster than it's being taken out by the ritual, the Well of Suffering. So I'm going to go and probably build something now and see what I can do about getting, or what mobs I'm going to use. I'm probably going to use witches. I normally do. They are useful because they heal themselves, which means we don't probably need the other, well, we'll see. The other ritual that you normally do with it, I don't have the stuff for yet, which is the ritual of regeneration. And the stones are fine, but I think, apart from it needs 44, which is 48, including a master ritual stone, it does also need the awakened activation crystal. So what I could start with is use that cursed earth and have that just be a cursed earth spawner underneath the altar, which then gets basically used up by the Well of Suffering. That isn't too bad, apart from the Demon Blood Shard, which the only way you get that, I think, is through Demon Summoning, which is another mechanic in Blood Magic. So maybe I'll try to see how well that cursed earth spawner works. Alright, so everything's placed down. I have placed this with an air gap of 4 from the base of where the altar will be, so that's number 1, and then 3 from here to here. It will fit closer to the altar, but if you do, just bear in mind this is the highest block, and this is the ground level that will be once you craft all the intermediary blocks, if you want the intermediary blocks. If you don't, just move it up a couple. But just bear in mind that if the ground level is here, there's just enough to cover the top of this ritual stone. So you wouldn't see this in operation. So let's see. Let's drop down one further and actually just finish off this. I just like the square edges. You don't specifically need them, but yeah, this is dark glass from Extra Utilities. It's just some sanding glass to make sandy glass, surprisingly enough, and combine it with some blackout curtains. Oh, they're everywhere around. Oh, the spiders! Ah! This is this is the unfortunate downside to having lots of warp in Thaumcraft. Go away. Right, so I have a lever here. Still some around. I can still hear them. Probably up top. Yeah, look at them all. Go away. So I have a lever here inside this dark glass room. The dark glass doesn't let any light through. That's the important point. And this lever will do this. In case you're wondering what that is, that's cursed earth inside there, and down there are redstone controlled drawbridges. So if I just turn this off, bye-bye. That's how we get rid of everything. So that's one way of just shutting off the cursed earth farm. The other way is to put lights at regular intervals, but they need to be exactly light level of 9, I think, to turn cursed earth off. So up to you which way you do it. If you do it this way, just bear in mind, whoops, I'll just hover. There's some red alloy wire, and that's hooked up to the drawbridges, which are here, with 11 cursed earth in the case of this one. Obviously, your own sizes, you may do whatever you want. And this interior volume is 2 high, not 3. That just means no Enderman, means no teleporting Enderman, no bad times. So now I should be able to just activate this, he says. What I wanted to test is just the range. Ideally, I don't want this ritual feeding this altar. So if we make sure that that doesn't happen before I place an altar down here, that's, you know, all well and good. So let's just grab over here. And the reason I don't want them interfering with each other is just because I may have another ritual with different mobs under that one. Not quite sure yet. But this will be enough to fill our network. Now, the network at the moment, I have 57,000. I think you need 50 to start this up. So let's give it a go and see if it works. Rush of energy flows through the ritual. I think that's working. Now let's turn on the spawner. Now let's see how much is in my network, just to double check. Yep, 7,000, so it's 50,000 exactly. Every time it kills something, though, it's going to take up some of that, so I don't want to run out. That's why I have a shut-off switch. So let's see if they spawn, and they should start taking damage if this thing is on and working. We'll see. I'm not sure how often they take damage. That's the only thing. So maybe it doesn't do anything until it finds a nearby altar. In which case, this thing is working fine. Goodbye again. I love this thing. If there's any other flying mobs, I am so dead. But other than that, it'll be fine. So we're going to put an altar on there. Let's give that a go. Let's nab this one temporarily. Must remember to turn on that, not to turn that on now. And let's just put an altar down here. Obviously, it's only tier 1, but what we're going to do is put the blood orb in it. And what we should see if I turn it back on again now, the spawner, hopefully everything will work. We'll see shortly, as long as I've not forgotten that something. So that's taking damage already. And so are those. So, yeah, that's working. Are you actually putting blood into the altar? Oh, yeah, you are. Cool. So, how much is this going up? Because the buffer problem may well cause this to keep going down, unfortunately. And in fact, that is not even absorbing the blood, is it? Oh, no, it is. It is just very, very slow. So I'm going to reset that whole thing and put it over here. Yes, I could have put that whole thing under that one, but hey, I ignore that. Okay, so I've reassembled some stuff over here. It won't take the Master Blood Orb yet because this altar isn't that tier. It's only tier 3 at the moment. So that's something I should probably sort out, and I probably could do it by moving that from over there. In fact, yeah, why not? Let's just grab a few things from over here. now I've got the actual blood altar. Well, the blood runes, I should say. I should use them. And we should be able to make more of those over here. They're just basic ones, so there shouldn't be much of an issue. There. Let's grab those. Lastly, these. And let me just borrow these large bloodstone bricks. And we should be able to reconstruct everything here pretty quickly. And now, what I haven't put in place in this one, and the reason why I didn't do witches, which I normally do, is what I normally do with those is they do heal themselves, but the ritual of regeneration on top of that will heal them as well. And it's just simply not to have the ritual of regeneration if they just get used up quite naturally with the spawning down there. I am going to have to deal with the loot somehow though, because they are dropping loot, it looks like. Let me just make sure we've got enough here. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, I think. Is it one above? Yeah, it looks like one above. So yeah, I am going to have to deal with the loot somewhere, and that means probably setting up either filing cabinets to store it, or just discarding it. There is somewhat useful loot, you know, we get things like glowstone and iron and other stuff with that loot. Let's just put this in place. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Are you now tier 4? Have I done everything correctly? Yep, you're tier 4. And my current life point network is going up. It's 19k. We've got the runes of dislocation. I will probably swap these around once I figure out what I've decided on for the optimal of this is concerned. But that means I can take you out and hopefully put you back in. Yeah, you're working. So we'll let pull stuff out faster. It looks that way. This is draining much faster now. There it goes. So that's where you normally get to with these crafting altars. They will just continually drain out, and you'll see the gauge at the top left that 26,000 is not an awful lot in a Master Blood Orb. It actually is a lot higher than that. So I'm pretty happy there. We've got a completely automatic, aside from the loot, which I'll figure out soon. It just gets pulled towards my magnetism ring. Yeah, I've got some witches there. So we should get some decent loot. Gunpowder, glowstone, all well and good. And now everything's rebuilt. So over here we've got our system that's still on. I haven't replaced this yet with a Kusthus one, but I will because that's using up power, and quite a lot of it as well. Probably KR per tick, something like that. Yeah, I can't remember exactly how much it is, but yeah, it's using up quite a lot of power with an extra capacitor in there. That is now supplying blood into here, and this is automatically killing things. Now, while you're actually doing that, you can just use this single altar to supply both blood and life essence to your network. What's 100,000 now? Just take the orb out. Take the orb out and just channel blood underneath to a tank. You just move it over. But then once you get enough of it in there, you'll be able to just keep this dedicated. You'll notice I've filled this up with the dislocation runes. Oh, yeah, more warp effects. Yeah, yay warp. Rotten flesh. Nom 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 nom. Yeah. So you'll notice, as I was saying, I've put dislocation runes in. I haven't quite decided what the other runes are going to be yet. So if you'd like to suggest them, many of you do like to suggest what the optimal kind of setup for this is. Remember, we are probably, well, eventually going up to a tier 6 altar, so there's plenty of room for runes. I was thinking maybe capacity and runes of the orb on this one, lots of sacrifice on this, and then hey, whatever's left on this one. I haven't quite decided on this one. All of those, however, are the higher tier. So, for example, superior capacity, that's the demonic slates. In fact, this altar probably should have speed runes on it because you're crafting, so you want to get that done pretty quickly. That's sugar and thaumium. That should actually be pretty easy to get going. So yeah, maybe the next one down could be speed. we also have, what's the Rune of the Orbs, and they again are higher tier. Imbued Slate, Prismarine, which yeah, I made that to actually get it easily, so we can get it now. And is there any others? None I particularly want. I don't think I need any runes of acceleration. Or self-sacrifice at all, to be honest. Everything is based on sacrifice with this one. So yeah, I think that's my kind of setup that I'm going to go for. Some speed on this one. Lots of sacrifice on that one. Just make sure we've got one ring of dislocation in each of them. 20 runes. And runes of the orb and something else on that. But I'm sure you'll find find holes with that theory and mention in the comments below. So this has been a pretty short episode. I just wanted to get it all in one episode and not cover too much other stuff, because automating this is kind of cool. Something that needs to be done really before we start to get into higher tier stuff like the demon invasion. And yeah, it's all kind of nice really. So if you like the episode, feel free to thumbs up. Otherwise, thumbs down. Follow me on Twitter at Greaterster, or subscribe, whichever one you prefer really. Doesn't really bother me too much. And next episode, I think I'm going to do a bit more automation using Steve's Factory Manager. I do quite like it after having tried it for the first time, this mod pack. And probably automate living wood and living rock and a bunch of other things, I think, with that. I've actually got an excess of blood now. I may not have. Not yet, no. It's actually empty. It's because it's crafting slates at the moment, I think. Yeah, that's actually getting quite low. So I'm going to just take that out. Not many left. But yeah, we're pretty much done. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.